It is the Pacific Coast Grizzlies taking on the Midwest Barbarians. And I am John Broker, joined by Liz and Twistle for this one. Liz, good first round of games. This is a big one.
Yeah, we just saw quite the hit out with Great Lakes taking on the New England Independents in the white. Great Lakes, the defending champions, went 10-0 last year across both levels of competition. But keep an eye on this Midwest Barbarians team. They feature several players from programs that made it into the national championships that were held just this past winter down in Texas.
We have Patrick Fight refereeing this one with assistant referees Pete Chamberlain, G.W. Curtin, Mean Dean Jorgensen, the number 4, and the man handing out all the discipline. It is going to be Pacific Coast is going to get us started. They are in the very lovely yellow, blue, and red. Running from right to left on your screen, left to right in the black and red. A bit of white there is the Midwest Barbarians. Midwest are going to receive this first one. Ball up and into their hands. Well taken. First hit out for both of these teams. So they're going to want to get a good start. Ball in Midwest hands. They go back. They're going to look for a first early kick here, just clearing. That one's going to go directly into touch. We'll have a line out for Pacific Coast, but it was passed back in according to the assistant referee. So we're going to go back for a line out inside the 22 for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it was an interesting first game where we saw teams deploy a variety of exit tactics coming from inside of their 22. We're going to have the line out deep in Midwest territory.
Pacific Coast here. Putting the ball in is going to be Luis Camacho, a junior out of Southern Nazarene University. They're going to look to the middle of the line. A little miscue there. First game for these teams. You have to expect just getting these connections together the first moment. So it's going to go down into Midwest hands. Referee Fight happy with this. They're again outside the 22. Is going to have to move this one around as Trent Draper, the big fella, acts as the distributor there, the scrum half, but he is definitely a front row player. As the ball comes back, this time Damalola Odenuga gets the Midwest going. Big break coming here. That is Takuzwa Musinguini. Keep an eye out for Musinguini. Very talented player. Human highlight reel on occasion. Laying a little flat here. Ball back inside, so they're going to have to keep this one in field. It rolls in a touch. Good positional play there by the Midwest. Going to be a line out here for this Pacific Coast team.
Solid tactic, keeping the ball in hand, exiting deep into Pacific Coast territory. We've seen teams all weekend long so far with a 5-man line out, a couple of sticky wickets with some overthrows and the ball's not quite straight. We'll keep an eye out for these formations. Again, these all-star teams coming together, controlling the controllables where they can, but some of these uncontrollables have led to plenty of try-scoring opportunities. Earlier matches, 45-12 we saw in the Tri-State game against the Bears.
Yeah, the messy line out there again, and that's what happened a couple of times. Like we said, it's just that getting it together. That 5-player line out, really a good option for an all-star team. Just bring some players in and get them the ball. They just have to get it going. So it's going to be a knock-on. Assistant referee and referee conferring here. So we're going to have a choice coming. And it will indeed be a scrum here for the Midwest All-Stars. Damalola Odenuga to put this one in, the junior from Principia College from King Williamstown, South Africa. Exciting player. Cohen Webb at number 10 from Iowa Central Community College, the Tritons. Great program. First scrum of this game. Ball to come in here from the Barbarians. Odenuga to Webb. Webb gets a little bit of a bouncer, but they've got some runners. Again, miscue there. Musinguini has a hold of it. Musinguini gets the ball out just a little bit wider. In on the hands of Ricozzo. Asante Ricozzo. They move the ball across. These early moves not happening for the Barbarians like they want them to. Once they iron this out, it will be very good. It's Raymond Holden Hahn, USA U20 player out of Kentucky. Takes that one down. Odenuga looking for some space. Finds a couple of Pacific defenders. But a penalty here against the Pacific Coast. Opportunity for the Midwest.
What's really interesting, mentioning the ball in hand, is we see Midwest set up very flat with their backs across the field, and so they're not really getting the depth to be able to create movement that's putting them under pressure from this Pac Coast defense.
Down inside the 22 they go. So the Midwest, early opportunity here for a lineout. The Barbarians Little discussion. Huddle's a little bit frowned upon these days. Referee fight is going to allow these teams to get here. Referees, too, you have to understand that these players are just kind of getting their bearings at the moment. That one comes up, well taken down by Andrew Boucher. Boucher from University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, studying actuarial science. Need him up here keeping statistics for us. Little break there from Benson Hahn. At the 5-meter line are the Barbarians. Barbarians driving. We'll see if they keep this tight. Big Trent Draper wearing number 28 gets a hold of it. Trent Draper drives towards the line. Cannot come down with it. Work coming across here. Ball is up into the hands of Boucher. Boucher looking for the line. Driven back. Good defense there from the Grizzlies. Little wider they go. Out in the middle, a big runner coming into the field, and Andy Naringo. Naringo steps a couple, and Andy Naringo, the junior from Principia, from Harare, Zimbabwe, touches down 5 points to open the scoring for the Midwest Barbarians.
It was a gorgeous line break by Naringo, and he had numbers towards the outside. When we looked across, we saw Pac Coast defense. They were all set up inside of the goalpost, going back to the play on action. So we see the congestion of this Pac Coast defense, space open towards the far side of the field, and Naringo doesn't need it as he cuts back inside, breaks the defenders right under the goalpost, easy as you like.
Takuzwa Musinguini lines up the kick here. Musinguini, Iowa Central Community College player. Another Zimbabwean-born player. The few of them on this team will know each other well. He's played for Zimbabwe's national team as Musinguini. Pretty straightforward kick for the Triton, playing with the Barbarians here in Atlanta.
When we look across this Midwest team, there's 15 different programs that are represented across all divisions of play. And again, we mentioned some of these national championship teams. In the D1 final we saw, or D1 teams rather, Principia, Iowa Central teams, both very, very familiar with the game of sevens as well. We'll look for those moves, shaking and baking across the field. Of course, we have the D1 AA, national champions Kentucky, University of Northern Iowa, where the D2 runners up, and Division III, Wayne State, where the champions as well.
That kick was good, so 7-0 the Barbarians lead Pacific Coast Grizzlies. We are going to have a restart here from Pacific Coast as they push that one long. Down into the hands of Cohen Webb. Cohen Webb is going to unleash the boot. It rolls right to the touchline. Can he keep it in? Well done there by Pacific Coast, but that pass may have been a little forward when it was there. Referee and assistant referee conferring. Couldn't see. He was just hopping at the touchline there. We'll see what happens.
So this is the third time that the Midwest has countered with a kick off of the kickoff. And we look at this dance down the sideline, keeps his feet on the ground, keeps the ball in play, but just barely tossed forward. We're going to see our second scrum of the game.
Zane Sokolowski there. Good work to try to keep that one alive. So another scrum here for the Midwest Barbarians. Odanuga again to put this one in. Studying studio art and graphic design. Good, strong scrum here. Ball well held. Luke Pugh at the back there for Midwest, wearing the number 8, Odanuga. He's going to get that one in the middle for the Musinguini. Musinguini's going to put it to the try scorer. They're going to try to get this one wide. Cohen Webb has some runners. Cohen Webb gets a ball out there to Ricozzo. Ricozzo across the 22, and Ricozzo towards the line. And it is Asante Ricozzo, a sophomore at Wayne State College from Johannesburg, South Africa. Touches down another 5 points in quick succession for this Midwest team.
You love to see it. We had the stable attacking platform coming off of the back of the scrum. And when we look at the setup across the Midwest and their backs, they created space. They were set up with support runners on either side, the ball getting out wide. We see the stiff arm deployed, tackle broken, and there you go across the try line. Midwest adding to their lead.
Good work there by Ricozzo, and Great Lakes in the first game, and in this game you see the Midwest. They've got some very competent, intelligent outside backs there. Get them loose. They've got options around them. They can play.
John, we've seen in both these games so far where it's really a tale of possession. We've seen teams come from deep in their own territory, maintaining control of the ball and working their way downfield. If trends continue to hold, we might expect to see a couple more Midwest tries.
We may certainly do that. Musinguini lines it up. Musinguini hit his first just in front of the post. It's a little bit of a tougher angle. That one is going to slide across the face of the post. We're going to be at 12-0 for the Midwest. Midwest coached by Tyler Daly out of University of Iowa, Jeremy Kachuba at University of Minnesota Duluth, Joe Lippert from the Iowa Central Community College, Tyler Selleck from Staines, Alaska, and Dakota Southworth from the University of Northern Iowa. Good set of people. Talked to Joe Lippert a bit yesterday. He said, his first games are real. The trainings yesterday about introducing the players and getting them to play together.
That's always one of the challenges when you get together with these all-star teams is the amount of time that you have to prepare. And we've seen just little unforced errors like this off of the kickoff. We've seen it in lineouts where other teams able to take advantage. And again, with just 20-minute halves, there's not a lot of time to get momentum going or to learn from your teammates on the field.
Certainly is not. We're going to come back here. That one did not go 10 from Pacific Coast. That is that little miscue. So it is going to be a scrum is taken by the Midwest. Opens up room on either side. Cohen Webb.
We've seen quite a few scrums already to this Midwest side. We see them setting up with split backs, an option to go either direction. We've seen other formations with them too, where they've inserted their weak side wing into the strong side of the back line. A gorgeous view here with the option to go either direction. Of course, we see now direction coming from the fly half.
Ball to back from Pugh. Pugh is going to find some room. Pugh from University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire gets the ball to Odanuga. Odanuga takes on a much bigger fellow, but takes the better of it. They're going to need someone to come in and act as a distributor. They have him there in Ricozzo. Ricozzo gets to Trent Draper. Trent Draper across the 22. Odanuga. Cohen Webb has a couple of options here. He's going to come out the back, get it to Musanguini's hands. Musanguini gets the ball away to Naringo. Naringo well marshaled by the defenders there. Pacific Coast has realized quickly they have to double up on Naringo. Ball comes back there to Benson Hahn. Benson Hahn, the sophomore from Carleton College. Odanuga spots a little space, pushes it in. It's going to sit inside the 22. It's going to come back for Pacific Coast. The kick comes partially blocked down by the Midwest. Can they keep it in field? They do. Ricozzo runs into an opposite number there in Dagdawuna. Trent Draper is going to go down the touchline here. Able to keep that one alive. Well done. Gets the ball out there to Boucher. Now into touch they go. Pacific Coast will have a line out just outside their 22.
So we go back to this play-by-play. There is Draper, the 5'9", 285-pounder with the fleet hands, keeping the ball alive. But Midwest not able to maintain possession. Line out to Pack, and it's Pack on the attack.
Here come the Grizzlies. Grizzlies at the 22. Looking to get some points on the board. First 10 minutes have been all Midwest. Pacific Coast gets some big hits in there, but Larry Voyachek takes that one in. Ball coming just a little slow here, given the time for the Midwest to line up that defense. They're looking to go wide, get it out to a pod. They're mired inside their 22 at the moment as Logan Zampa comes down with it. One player a little slow to get up. Ball just spins across the face there. Down to the ground they go. Dagdawuna. Coming in behind, looking for a line break. Can they get through? That's Luis Camacho. Ball staying alive. Get it up to Logan Zampa. Zampa takes it about 30 meters out. He's on the wrong side there. He's got players trying to rip that ball away, but referee Fight is saying that not releasing, playing on the ground. We're not rolling away, pardon me, against the Midwest. So opportunity here for Pacific Coast.
Some direction coming from our referee, Pacific Coast, with the ball in hand, looking to kick to touch. A few players to watch if they can get some offense going as their number 17, Anthony Rice, number 19, Logan McDaniel, a few players from University of Denver, Cal Poly Humboldt, of course, Luis Camacho, as John has mentioned, in the number 22 jersey, and that number 28, Logan Zampa.
Ball into the lineout, knocked down by the Midwest.
So, John, we see that five-man line out again and again. This is one of the areas where we've seen the most errors in the game so far. When we look at time together and the ability to control some of these set pieces, an area of opportunity for the weekend to cohere as it proceeds.
Ball in from Pacific Coast. Up and over they go again. Miscue. We're going to have a free kick here for Pacific Coast. They're going to go quick. Logan McDaniel. McDaniel, never afraid to have a run. Ball down in Max Cisneros. Ripped away by the Midwest, but illegally. So Pacific Coast getting some favors here from this Midwest team. A couple of transgressions moving them closer to the line.
Pacific Coast with an excellent opportunity. About 5 minutes left to go in this first half of play. Again, looking towards touch, looking for these lineouts. Strategically sound, just need to tighten up on the execution.
Opportunity here for the Grizzlies. Camacho again. Ball up, into the middle of the lineup they go. They make that one. The ball's been taken to the ground, but legally so, says the referee. So able to play. Draper has to get himself out of there and does. Ball goes just a bit outside of Wojciech, and he's going to take it to the middle of the field. Grizzlies again. Cisneros moves it out into the hands of Talanoa. Talanoa gets a hard running player coming straight onto that one. Maulaulu takes that one into contact, but a little messier on the breakdown. Another penalty against the Midwest. They're mounting up right now. A referee wants to have a chat with their captain about this run of penalties.
So we saw the Pacific Coast Grizzlies here with their most solid attacking platform coming from the full lineout. They had all 7 of their forwards involved. That set a secure, stable platform, able to move the ball out wide, and now have drawn the penalty just about 12 meters out from the goal line. An opportunity to kick for points. However, here in All-Star play, we often see the ball remain in hand. Not necessarily always about winning these matches, but rather showcasing the talent of these players on the field.
Eric Talanoa has ball in hand, the senior from the Oregon Institute of Technology from Maple Valley, Washington. They get the ball. They're going to keep this one alive. As Liz said, they certainly want to run do Pacific Coast. Running some big players to the line. Can't quite get there. There it is. Ball alive. Can they get there this time? No, they cannot. Ball in the big number 1's hand. Letici looking at the line. They've got another penalty management try awarded. That's Sengato Letici, the senior from Western Oregon University. 2-time All-Star, 5 points on the board.
This is a Pacific Coast team that is no stranger to coming back and winning some matches. They were the 2021 champions. We look here at the goal line again, going through multiple phases of play. Look at that presentation of the ball, secure and stable, able to get that solid go forward, excellent principles of play, and the try is awarded.
You know, Midwest there may have lost a player if that penalty actually went. Little chip there for Talanoa. And it's 7 points on the board, so we're 12-7. Hopefully, it may not have gone. It's only 5, pardon me. Looked away and it looked like a chip shot. That's on me. 12-5, 7 points in it as this first half rolls on. Just about 3 minutes left on the game clock. Referee fight could have a little more time. Musinguini set to get us going again.
So we'll look to see which direction the Midwest goes with this kick-off. Players both to the right and the left, of course, wearing some non-traditional numbers, keeping their same numbers all weekend long for talent identification purposes. Midwest with the ball off the boot.
Here come the Grizzlies. Grizzlies happier now with the way they're playing. Trying to go wide. A little injection of pace. They get to the 22. Cisneros has some runners. Little tip pass there. It doesn't work. It's Finn Russell, not the Scottish one, gets taken down. Talanoa. Little cross field there. They've got a one-on-one on the outside here, but a big hit in there from the Midwest. That was a pretty obvious play coming across. So Midwest, good defense here. A lot of pressure. Referee's happy with it. Pacific Coast is going to need to clear their lines if they get a penalty. A little too much from this Midwest team.
So this is the third penalty against the Midwest team, giving the Pacific Coast possession of the ball and a little bit of the momentum. Excellent defense by the Midwest, but just barely giving it away. And we look again, look at this monster tackle here coming from the Midwest, number 14, Drake Poff, putting his opposition down.
Ball does not find touch, but a little knock on there from Cohen Webb. So it's going to work out possibly even better for the Grizzlies. Right around midfield will be their scrum.
We talked earlier about the conditions here in Atlanta. About 45 degrees here on this turf field. Rainy for the first match. It's blown off a bit.
It does feel chilly, I'll give it that. Does not feel like 45. Cisneros ready to get us going again from the Colorado School of Mines from Brighton, Colorado. Big push, Cisneros, Talanoa. Nice little look for a line break there, but it doesn't materialize. Shows the ball. Player from the Midwest launched over this one, is going to draw that penalty. That is what the Midwest needed right there. And stepping up to do that is Holden Hahn.
It was a timely turnover here for the Midwest, so they trade penalties, giving Pack possession of the ball, but able to win the ball back. And again, middle of the field, looking for that touch line.
And Musanguini finds it off the left.
It's being line out to the Midwest, just about 23 meters from the goal line. And again, 5 men in the line out. We've seen just one 7-man line out this entire weekend.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of this 5-player line out. It simplifies things. It gives you a couple forward runners out there. Looking at the front line out, knocked down there. That's a player hit in the air. That should be some sort of penalty. Referee and assistant referee are going to confer there, but Camacho really had opportunity to get more than a penalty there. It could have been a yellow card.
It was back and forth and up and down. We do see the penalty awarded to the Pacific Coast. Of course, player safety being a premier concern, especially at this collegiate level.
They're just going to put that one into touch. End of the first half, 12-5. It was all Midwest, and it was all Pacific Coast. We will see what the second half brings. We'll step aside. We'll be back in just a second.
In our game, we play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Let's get ready. Major League Rugby is now.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year.
The Rugby Network is giving you all the free MLR content you want, live and on demand. Never miss a hit, never miss a try, never miss your team. MLR on TRN. Never miss a match.
Rugby is all about feeling. The feeling when you crouch, when you bind, when you set. The feeling when you go into that first defender. The feeling when you make that first tackle. The feeling when you take that first hit. We are that feeling. We are contact. We are Rhino.
Welcome back to National Collegiate Rugby All-Stars Men's National Shield Championship Weekend. It is game number 2 in the stadium field. It is 12-5. The Midwest Barbarians lead the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. John Broker with Liz Entwistle were ready to get going just about, but really it was all Midwest, and then Pacific Coast came roaring back. We should have a great second half.
I do think so. We saw Midwest with so much possession in the first half of the first half, and then penalties and scrums, some uncertainty in the lineouts gave the Pacific Coast some opportunities with the ball in hand. Both these teams deploying a little bit of a kicking game coming out of their own 22. We'll look to see if that trend continues here as the Midwest kicks off in the black jerseys, going from right to left across your screen, kicking off to Pacific Coast in the gold.
As you said, Midwest to get us going again. Odanuga hangs one up. Oh, sorry, Musanguini hangs one up in the air. Oof, big hit. Was he on the ground? Referee says no. We may have a card coming here, and that was a collision.
So it looks like we've got a minute down on the field, a little bit of a conversation to be had.
And it seemed to be Holden Hahn that made that hit. The University of Kentucky player, and he's going to get a yellow card and a bit of an injury for his troubles there.
So we'll go back to the replay. We see the ball up in the air, the solid contact made by the Midwest, but player up in the air on that receipt. And this is going to give Pack a bit of an advantage.
Certainly will, as Hahn is in the bin, and the ball does not find touch. So Midwest on the move, one player down, just a bit of missed timing there. Ball up to Pacific Coast, the Grizzlies with a player advantage here. Gonna keep this one moving. Ball comes in. Big run coming. Noko is in at the scrum half position. The ball comes out a little wider there through Wilson Thomas. Down that left-hand side they go. A big run coming. They are inside the opposition half. Ball up. It's a Carney, big break there. Look at the run, it's coming. Finn Russell. Russell turns the ball over, however, it's in Midwest hands. Midwest player on his own. He is just gonna chip that one forward. That's gonna be Naringo made that one. As the ball comes down into the hands of Sokolowski. Sokolowski heads across the 22, doesn't find any go forward, has to take it to the ground. The Grizzlies are gonna have to work their way back onto offense here, and they do. Pick and go off the side just to buy a little time, clear a little room. Pacific Coast Grizzlies. Noko puts that one away. Looking a little wider now. Are they going to go? A little pass away from Talanoa. Very well done. Gets it to Logan McDaniel. Logan McDaniel, they've stretched the field. They've only made about 5 meters off of that one as the ball comes up. A little run for Sam Wells. Noko finds it again, gets it to Wilson Thomas in the first receiver role. Noko finds a runner, puts him through a hole. He's in a bit of space. Malulu taken down, but penalty against Midwest. looking good here. Noko wanted to go quick, but they're going to slow it down. And with a one-player advantage, not gaining too much Pacific Coast, but really ball in hand doing well.
Pacific Coast has been given some space to run. Not only do they have the one-player advantage, but we see the Midwest setting up their defense off the back of these rucks, where their scrum half is playing a shallow 5 meters back. We see 2 of their back 3 playing backs. This is opening space, giving Pacific Coast the ability to have some ball in hand, and we see them deploying a little bit of an offload game, going inside, outside, keeping the ball and keeping momentum going forward.
Changes coming for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies put the ball up into the hands of Connor Kelly. Comes down to Wells, has to go back and retrieve it. Line out messy here so far today. Noko finds Wilson Thomas. Ball up there to Malaulu. Runners off to this side. Little pass up there from Preston James. They find some space for Matthew Carney. Noko gets him going pretty quickly. Ball bounces. Referee says it's okay. Chipped up in the air, winds up in touch. Should be a line out here for the Midwest Barbarians as they are working this yellow card off the clock.
There will be about 1 minute left on this yellow card with the shortened halves. We're seeing just a 5-minute sin bin when it comes to cards on the field.
Barbarians. 5-player lineup, going to go right to the middle there to Connor Kelly. Out the back they go. Cohen Webb looking for a runner, finds it through the middle of the field. The hard charging Andy Doringo gets right by Wilson Thomas, trying to get that ball away, finds a runner coming onto it. On the move, you see the defense there for the Pacific Coast Grizzlies, just finding the time to fan out. Little push, Odanuga. Musinguini, ball on the ground. Going to come up, tried to kick it away. Did the Grizzlies. Referee's going to whistle. Seemed to be a knock-on in there, so scrum coming, it seems to be, for the Midwest Barbarians.
It was excellent timing coming off of that line out for the Barbarians. We saw them quick up in the air and quickly moving the ball into space, getting it wide. Also eating up time on this yellow card. Should be back to full strength quite soon. But an excellent sequence of play by the Midwest, and again, keeping the pressure on and forcing this knock-on.
Scrum coming for the Barbarians. Their all-star team down a player, so they're going without a number 8 there. So no player at the back. See if the Grizzlies can put some pressure on this one. Penalty, however, against the Pacific Coast. And you would imagine they will slow this one down and really burn the clock off to get Holden Hahn or another player back on.
100%. We look at game management. We look at tempo and pace on the field. And you're exactly right, as the Midwest is going to be back to full strength. So maintaining a 12-5 lead. We are 5 minutes into the second half of play, 15 minutes left to go. And we do see an indication we may have our very first penalty attempt, John.
Early penalty attempt. Take some time with the clock. Gage Curry is going to come on. He is also a Kentucky player with Holden Hahn.
So we see Taco lining up the penalty attempt. He was a leading try scorer, point scorer, and conversion scorer when it came to the national championships this past winter down in Houston, Texas. Making an attempt from about 38 meters out.
Musinguini lines it up. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Pool play here at Silverback Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Chilly, cloudy day here. Supposed to clear up a little bit. That one looks good. They put 3 more points on the board. So Pacific Coast are now down 10. Good work there to move to 15 for the Midwest Barbarians.
Absolutely strategic there with the penalty converted, eating up another 2 minutes time on the clock. Of course, these teams looking to advance with the higher seed when it comes to tomorrow's quarterfinals. 8 teams here in the All-Star event, 6 teams in the Rising All-Star event. All 8 teams will advance.
Pacific Coast, the Grizzlies get us going again. Ball inside the 22. Midwest Put that one back to Cone Webb. It was all inside the 22, so they should be fine. They're going to keep it in field. Talanoa's going to have it. Talanoa's looking for some space. Talanoa gets by a few, bounces that ball back, but it did go forward eventually. So Midwest back at full strength has it. Odanuga looking for a runner. A little show of the ball. They're going to keep that one alive for Ntando Sibanda. Sibanda gets just inside their own half. They get it to Luke Pugh. Little pass back in, doesn't quite go. Referee says should be okay, but penalty against, however, the Midwest Barbarians. So the Grizzlies opportunity here, plenty of time, down 10.
This is back and forth, a little bit of ping and pong as the Midwest did kick downfield. We've seen all teams so far here in our stadium field deployed quite the kicking game. We had Pac Coast Grizzlies set up with 4 back, so there were numbers there on their counter attack, not quite able to execute, but able to recover the ball here with the penalty against the Midwest.
Inside the 22, the Grizzlies go. Change for the Grizzlies to throw this one in. Drake Torno wearing number 24. Noko gets in the position there. They try to go to the front, but it's knocked back. Was that knocked forward? Referee says free kick for the Grizzlies. They're going to push back the Midwest. Just about halfway, a little over halfway through this second half. Noko looking for some runners here. Gets the ball up in the hands of Voyacek. Larry Voyacek has had some good carries, a junior from Sam Houston State, as they come back out to the right-hand side. Good step there from Torno. Gets it away, and they're looking at the line. Pacific Coast Grizzlies working their way in here, keeping it tight. Can they get the ball to the ground? These are wrestling matches. It either goes to the ground or it winds up a goal line drop, but that one was knocked forward, so it looks like we're going to come back here for a scrum for the Midwest, but at their own 5-meter line. Pressure on them.
So we go back again to that line out where they had 6 men in, able to keep the ball in play on the field, again with penalties, giving possession and giving new opportunities to this Pac Coast Grizzlies side. They nearly get it across the goal line, but knocked on.
So scrum here at their own 5-meter line for the Barbarians. Odanuga and Webb have had some conversations. See the Great Lakes Thunderbirds behind them. They're getting ready to come on the field next. It's going to be Great Lakes versus Mid-Atlantic. The Sharks, big pressure coming on from the Grizzlies right now. However, will they pull a penalty? A referee has his hand out, and Pacific Coast comes up with that one. Have to throw back in, but penalized at the Midwest. Noko's going to go quick. Players were not back all the way. Noko held up in the air. Referee spots it, says held up. Will he come back, or is it going to be another penalty? It is going to be a goal line drop. I didn't think those players were behind the try line.
It was a quick tap taken by Pacific Coast. Of course, the pressure is on, but is the pressure really there? They had numbers to the far side of the field, opportunities to spread things out a little bit wider, but those goal line eyes sometimes get a little too wide.
Goal line drop. Cone Webb puts a long one back there. Doaona headed across field. Pugh's going to make that tackle. Noko has some runners, gets to Wilson Thomas, a Texas A&M player. Gets the ball up to Carney. Carney going to push that ball wide. Defensive pressure from the Midwest driving them back there. Carney, the Montana State University player. Odanuga has some runners now. Back the other way they go. Sol Gaffa took that one in, and they draw the penalty inside the Pacific Coast half.
This is the first time we're going to see ball in hand for the Midwest inside of Pac territory, with the exception of that initial kickoff. The Barbarians first. Well, I was going to say their first real attacking opportunity, but it looks like another attempt at goal we saw.
Yeah, they just want Midwest just wants to win these games, right? They're not worried about showing all the open play. First, they want to get the points ahead. So Musinguini's going to step up.
With 3 games to play today and the seeding going into tomorrow's matches. Again, talking about game management, looking at our time management. And, of course, when you have a kicker with the skill of Musinguini, why wouldn't you take that shot?
This is within his distance. He's a left footer. Musinguini lines it up. This ball will be live if he does not get it there. Musanguini has the distance, has the accuracy. Assistant referees are happy with that one. So they add another 3 points. Pete Chamberlain and G.W. Curtin happy with that as assistant referees. So we move to 18-5.
He has a fantastic strike off the boot of Musanguini. Again, the left-footed kicker from about 45 meters out, keeping it low as well. Extending that lead by 13 points. Puts Pack under a little bit of pressure to get 2 tries and 2 conversions if they're looking to take the lead. Pretty tall task with 6.5 minutes left to play.
Midwest inside their 22. Cohen Webb shows he had 2 players coming on. He's going to find a little more distance. Cohen Webb pushes that one downfield. Midwest push the ball out of their zone. It's going to be Pacific Coast ball. We'll see what this call is here. Did the ball get passed back in?
Looks like Pacific Coast was trying to get that ball to a mark they thought was further downfield and looking to go quick, trying to put some pressure on, but conferences with our referees are going to march it. So ball not passed back, but instead kicked from behind the 22, giving the line out deep and, well, deeper
That's
in
what I
Pack
thought
territory.
I saw. Well, there's actually a penalty here, so players seem to be tackling somebody without the ball. So we were looking at the lineouts there. Something out of our little bit of vision came in.
Of course, this afternoon we'll have the referees mic'd up. Looking forward to that. So we'll hear and have some better insight into all these conversations.
I was happy I was right about the lineout, and then let alone the penalty. As we come downfield inside the 22, so the Midwest an opportunity here. Not going to go for points that time. So they're going to look for a try after they've gone up by another 3 points. They're up 13 points at the moment. This would pretty much seal it out with just over 5 minutes to go. Pugh in the middle. Ball up. And Maul coming from the Midwest. Pacific Coast has engaged, so this is good. Good, strong defense there. Can they get this going forward, the Barbarians? Cohen Webb gets ball in hands. He's got runners in a couple of different directions. A little miscue. That ball goes back. Odanuga has it. Gets the ball to Musanguini. Musanguini knocks off one, and it keeps fighting with that player, but it's going to take a big tackle there for his troubles. Looking to make a menace of himself there at that breakdown were the Pacific Coast Grizzlies, but they're still alive. Ball here for Midwest. Little pass there. It gets the ball to Naringo. The ball back into the hands of Renheimer. Naringo gets it back again. A little loose here from the Midwest, but they're going to get to Pugh. Pugh is going to pass that ball up. They're keeping this one alive. Certainly give it a go. That's Nord. Benjamin Nord takes it about 5 meters out. There's an arm out from the referee. So maybe a penalty advantage here against the Grizzlies. They would love this 5 points, of course, would the Midwest. In the middle they go. Cohen Webb is going to go for the cross kick. The try line is open. The ball is down in hand, and it is going to be a try for Drake Poth. Drake Poth, a junior out of Drury University from Glenpool, Oklahoma. 5 points on a lovely cross kick.
It was a perfectly weighted kick to the corner, giving the Midwest another 5 points and an 18-point lead pending the conversion to come. But we saw this all start with quick distribution off the back of the rucks. We see it again, and this gives them the time and the distance this time on the cross kick across the field. Their second attempt, we saw it earlier, about 10 phases back, and this time it pays off. Another Midwest try. Midwest really keeping the ball alive and able to popcorn it through the hands. We see them in some tight situations, but not going to ground, not getting the tackle. That means that there wasn't offsides lines created. Create a little bit of that disjoint-free play, similar to what we see in the game of sevens at times. But by keeping the ball alive with a little bit of Fijian-type flair, especially that kick to the corner,
I
you
can
have
feel
to like
some
what you
coaches
see.
thinking, just settle the ball down, please. Would you guys stop doing this? But it worked out in the end for them with that great cross kick. I think they had the penalty advantage. Musanguini lines this one up. Musanguini off that left boot. That one looks good. Assistant referee's happy. So they put another 2 on there. Midwest out to a good lead here. About 2 or 3 minutes to go.
The boot of this Midwest team has really been the MVP of this game. We've seen them countering when they've received the kickoffs. We've seen them with some grubbers downfield, the kick passes across the field, doing it all, ball eventually in hand, but off with the boot.
Ball back up here from the Grizzlies. Comes down. Will look like that one was an early hitter. Tough hit there on Musanguini. Penalty for the Midwest. So they will slow this ball down at this point. Just want to close this one out. A couple more games to play as Cohen Webb steps up. Webb keeps that one in field, so the Grizzlies an opportunity here. Grizzlies coming across field. Talanoa can't find that one. Ball down to Sibanda. Coming out this time. That one to Bryce Palmer. Palmer to the ground. Odanuga has to step in there. Webb finds a runner in a little tight there. Cohen Webb has a runner coming on a big in angle there. They get across the 40-meter line. Pugh steps up. Pugh steps around one, gets a little bit of ground, has a couple of players with him. They're going to recycle this one. They've got runners either direction. They're going to come to Webb. Webb has a player coming in. They're going to get it to Musanguini. Musanguini hands off one. It gets a ball up in the air to Odanuga. Odanuga takes a big hit on the right-hand side. As the ball slips down to the ground, Diego Stefani dives down on that one. And a penalty against the Grizzlies here. We'll see if they go quick, and they will. Odanuga, can he find some space? Odanuga had players with him. Did they wait for the 10 meters until they got that one? And they did indeed. Penalized against Odanuga this time for not releasing. Got himself isolated.
So again, back and forth, turnovers and possession, the tail of this match so far. We've seen a couple of momentum shifts. And we've got one last chance here for the Pack Grizzlies. Time off on our clock, or time is up on our clock. Of course, time kept by our referee on field. And it's Pacific Coast kicking to touch, downfield, gaining space.
Pacific Coast probably cannot win this one at this point, barring something bizarre. They're down by about 20 points, but they would like some more points on the board.
We see them with another chance here with a stable attacking platform. And this is where both teams have been successful so far. When they've had the timing to get their runners going forward and getting those passes off downfield rather than having to react so much to what the defense is showing in front of them. We've seen more space created. This time a little bit less space as there's a tussle in the air on the line out, John.
Good contest there, but another penalty against the Barbarians. Pacific Coast through Wilson Thomas. Going to push this one further downfield, look for the points. Remember, after this at 11 a.m. Eastern, it's going to be Great Lakes back on versus the Mid-Atlantic Sharks. But right now inside the 22, it's going to be a Pacific Coast Grizzlies lineout.
Pacific Coast with an excellent opportunity inside of the 22. We see a full lineout again, John. Last time to this, we saw Abel in quick distribution, getting the ball out wide.
Here we see a couple of miscues on the dance steps that are the line out these days. They're going to go for a maul. Midwest has not engaged it. A referee awards a scrum here.
So heads up by the Midwest defense, not engaging, seeing that full line out again. We saw an attempt at the second maul of the tournament. Doesn't quite pay off, and the game is done. It is your Midwest Barbarians winning 25-5 over the Pack Coast Grizzlies.
Yeah, Midwest 25-5. We're going to step away until the hour when it's going to be Great Lakes versus Mid-Atlantic. I'm going to step away till the one after that. So it's going to be Liz Entwistle and Chip Burnside bringing that one. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Rugby is all about feeling. The feeling when you crouch, when you bind, when you set. The feeling when you go into that first defender. The feeling when you make that first tackle. The feeling when you take that first hit. We are that feeling. We are contact. We are Rhino.
Let's get ready. Major League Rugby is now.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year.
The Rugby Network is giving you all the free MLR content you want, live and on demand. Never miss a hit, never miss a try, never miss your team. MLR on TRN. Never miss a match.